So again, come back to the online classes, students. See, in the first lecture, already I told you hydrides, ionic hydrides, right? So hydrides formed by the reaction between hydrogen gas and alkali and alkaline earth metal, except beryllium and magnesium, which are having electronegativity difference less than 2.1, less than hydrogen, right? They can form actively these ionic hydrides. They are also called salt-like hydrides or that is saline hydrides, right? Example I given you, all alkali metals and alkaline earth metal, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, except francium, because francium is radioactive. Then in alkaline earth metals, calcium, strontium, barium. See these hydrides, I told you, what are the characteristics? Sorry. See, they decompose water and liberates nitrogen gas, and they are good reducing agents, strongest reducing agents, right? Even they on electrolysis, they undergo ionization. Okay, sodium gets deposited at cathode and hydrogen gas liberates at the anode. And also they are having densities. That means these ionic hydrides are having density higher than the metals from which they are formed. If you take lithium and lithium hydride will be having more density than the lithium. Like this, see, this is the information regarding what ionic hydrides or salt-like hydrides or saline hydrides, especially formed by only S block element. That is first group alkali and second group alkaline earth metal, but except beryllium and magnesium. So next we will come to next one, second one, that is this lecture 2, and try to complete all the part. See, next what are the second one? Okay, that is covalent hydrides. Covalent hydrides or molecular hydrides. What? Molecular hydrides. Okay. Right. So what are these? So very simple, students. Hydrides formed by the definition. Hydrides formed by the reaction of hydrogen with the P block elements. P block elements. See, P block elements, especially they belong to audio study 13th and 14th group. Okay, they are placed at the extreme right side of the periodic table. 13th group boron family, 14th group okay carbon family, 15th group nitrogen family, 16th group oxygen family, 17th group halogen family, and except noble gases. They all form hydrides. When they react with this hydrogen, they form covalent hydrides or molecular hydrides. Okay, right. Example. So many examples you can find here, right? Especially hydrides formed by the reaction of hydrogen with the P block elements are called what? Covalent hydrides, whose electronegativity difference is a very less compared to hydrogen, almost comparable. They form this covalent hydrides. Sorry, students, it is hydrides. Okay. Example, say will give one by all the families. In 13th group, it is called boron family. Boron, aluminium, gallium, indium family. Like this. 14th group, carbon, okay, silicon, germanium, tin, and lead. 15th group, nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, and bismuth. 15. And 16 group, oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, and chromium. Okay. 17 group, chlorine, bromine, iodine, and Like these are the what? Sorry, students. That there are three examples. See, boron hydride, BS3. Aluminium hydride, AlS3. Gallium hydride, GaS3. Indium hydride, NiNS3. Thallium hydride, TnS3. Because they are trimer. Methane formed by the hydride of carbon. Hydride of silicon, silane. Hydride of germanium, germanium. Hydride of carbon, aniline. And hydride of lead is called plumbing. Like this ammonia, NH3, phosphine, BS3, RC, ASS3, stibine, SBS3, desmethine, BIS3. 15. 16 group water, S2O. Next, H2S, hydrogen oxide, hydrogen sulfide, hydrogen selenium, okay, hydrogen tellurium, and hydrogen polonium. Like this, see students, they will form hydrogen form the 16 group water, hydrogen sulfide, hydrogen selenium, hydrogen tellurium, hydrogen polonium. Like this 17 group also, hydrogen chloride, hydrogen bromide, and hydrogen iodide. But acetylene will not. It is a radioactive compounds. Like this, these are various examples. These are all what? These are all covalent. So you can write any. They ask you for 2 marks. Write this derivation. Write any 2 example of this. Right? Okay. That's why. See the notes what I give you. B2H6 diborane. Okay. Example. Double hydride of bone. BS3 combined to form B2H6. This is called as what? Diborane. Okay. Right. Then sir, see once again these 13 to 17 group hydrides are classified into 3 categories. Before classifying them, first I will tell you all the characteristics so that you will not get confused. Right? Okay. Right. See, what are the characteristics? Remember, characteristics are, remember here, these covalent hydrides are also called molecular hydrides. Right? And they are provided by what? Molecular lattices. And these molecular lattices are held by what? Weak van der Waals forces of attraction. Right? I repeat. These covalent hydrides are also called molecular hydrides because they are crystalline in nature. In the crystal, they are having molecular lattices. Molecular lattices. In the molecular lattices, they are held by weak van der Waals forces of attractions, especially hydrogen bonds. Right? Okay. Then these covalent hydrides are also, their stability decreases down the group. As the size increases, stability also decreases. But across the period is like this. Across the period, from aluminium, okay, from carbon to ammonia to water. See, stability increases. CH4 is more stable than ammonia. Ammonia is more stable than water. Water is more stable than air. Across the period, stability increases, but down the group, down the group, all this from boron to thallium decreases. When methane to plumbine decreases, ammonia to bismuthine decreases, water to hydrogen polonium decreases, HF to HI decreases. Down the group, stability decreases, but across the period increases. Why? Due to electronegativity. As electronegativity of central atom increases, stability increases. Very, very important for CAT purpose, right? Then these are weaker reducing agent. These are weaker reducing agent compared to ionic hydrides, right? Okay. And these are also decomposing water and liberating hydrogen gas, but relatively less compared to ionic hydrides, right? See, these are remember, these do not have any densities because they are comparatively same electron, small difference in electronegativity. Okay? Like this, first basically we will classify what? Define covalent hydrides like this. Hydrides formed by the reaction of what? Reaction of what? Hydrogen with the P block elements. 13 to 17. But not noble gas. Because noble gas they have complete octet. Okay? Now I will tell you, once again these hydrides are classified into three more categories. What are those? First, electron, deficient hydrides. What are these electron deficient hydrides? See, these are the molecular hydrides or covalent hydrides formed by the p block elements, especially 13 group elements. Okay, 13 group only. Why, sir? Because they are deficient of a lone pair of electron to complete the octet. This type of hydrides are called as what? Electron deficient hydrides. If they ask you what are electron deficient hydrides, give example. The types of covalent hydrides which are deficient of pair of electron. Which are deficient of what? Pair of electron to complete the octet. They are called electron deficient hydrides. What are examples? Examples are very simple. Diborane, B2, double hydride formed by the group. Even you can also give aluminum hydride. All 13 group elements are example of what? Electron deficient hydrides. Simple. Right? Okay. Then, secondly, electron precise hydrides. What are these? These are also covalent hydrides only, or molecular hydrides formed by the same p block, especially example for electron precise hydrides. What precise means? These are having exactly the electrons matching the Lewis dot formula. Whatever is necessary for Lewis dot formula to complete octet, that much electrons are present here. That's why these are called as what? Electron precise hydrides. Hydrides which are having precise electrons impermissible to Lewis dot structure, which you are going to study in chemical model. Okay? These are called as what? Electron precise hydride. Best example, methane. All 14 group elements again. Methane, see. Methane is tetravalent, you know, students. See. How many covalent bonds are there? 4. CH4. See. It is having equal electrons and equal hydrogens. That's why it is called as what? Electron precise hydride. Whereas here one hydrogen is deficient. That's why the trivalent element, this is tetravalent. Best example for electron precise is methane, silane, okay, germanium, stanninium, fluorine. Right? Okay. Then after this, now one more is remaining, that is after electron deficient, okay, electron precise, another is there, electron, okay, that is rich hydrides. See, why these are called electron rich hydrides? Because these are deficient of hydrogen, but both hydrogens are replaced by lone pair of electrons. That's the difference, right? Now, the electron rich hydrides are also covalent hydrides formed by the p block elements, but if they are having a pair of electron, okay, extra pair of electron. Instead of hydrogen, instead of permissible Lewis dot structure, that hydrogen is replaced by a lone pair of electron. 1, 2, or 3. Best examples you can do here. Best example, ammonia, NH3, C1 group. Water, H2O, say 2 lone, HF, okay, hydrogen fluoride, 3 lone pairs, like that. Okay, they are exactly, see, instead of hydrogen, they are replaced by lone pair of electrons, right? The electron precise, 14 group, electron deficient, 13 group, and electron rich, 15, 16, and 17. Okay, like this. See, very, very important for 2 marks, even for NEET also from this chapter. Okay. So this is all about what? Covalent hydrides. What are covalent hydrides? Hydrides formed by the reaction of hydrogen with that is p block elements from 13 to 17. 13 group elements are electron deficient hydrides. 14 group elements are electron precise hydrides. Whereas 15, 16, 17 they are electron rich hydrides. Oh, okay. and these are weaker reducing agents. They decompose water to liberate hydrogen at the atom. Okay, but stability decreases down the group, across the period increases as electronegativity of central atom increases. That's about covalent hydrides. Now come to lastly, students, that is metallic hydrides. Third, metallic hydrides. You see, in metallic hydrides are also called interstitial hydrides. Okay, interstitial hydrides. Okay, they are also called non-stoichiometric compounds. Okay, so what is the definition first? Hydrides formed by the reaction of hydrogen with what? That is D and F long. Okay, especially transition and inner transition elements, because D block elements are called transition elements, F block elements are called inner transition elements. They are all metals. That's why metallic hydrides. Why they are called interstitial hydrides? Because these examples, first I will give the example. Example is a nickel hydride, NiH, okay, 0.6 to 0.7. Palladium hydride, PDH, 0.6 to 0.9. Okay, cerium and hydride and actinium. The first two compounds, they are D block, 3D series, 4D series. See, they are having 0.6, 0.7, not a whole number. That's why these metallic hydrides are also called as what? Non-stoichiometric hydrides. Why these are called non-stoichiometric hydrides? Because they do not have definite composition, do not have definite ratio. Their ratio are decimal, not a whole number. That's why these are called non-stoichiometric hydrides. Okay? If they ask you for example, just write these two phenomena. Hydrides formed by the reaction of hydrogen with D block elements or F block elements, transition or inner transition element. They are called see what? Metallic hydrides. Or why they are called interstitial hydrides, that I will tell you stepwise. See, these transition elements and inner transition elements, they are having high catalytic property, high degree of catalytic property. Why? Because they are finely divided. Substances or catalysts have more surface area on which gaseous molecule gets absorbed. Okay, and see, let me tell you with one example, especially palladium and platinum. They have more consumption. Okay, they can accommodate more hydrogen at small levels. For example, if you take finely divided nickel catalyst, just one example. Okay, this is a finely divided nickel catalyst surface. Okay, like this it will continue. See, these are called as what? Interstitial sites. Interstitial. Okay, that is space or void or gap. Right? So here in these interstitial sites or spaces, some small atoms like hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, they are compounded and forming class of compound called as what? Interstitial compounds. Right? So this is the speciality of these elements. Not only nickel, palladium and platinum has a high storing capacity of hydrogen gas. Even that hydrogen gas is used for further what? That is fuel purpose. As a gaseous fuel. That's why it is called as what? Hydrogen economy. In future, if there is any petroleum products deficiency there, that can be renewed by using this hydrogen. That's why it's called what? Hydrogen storage capacity is more for palladium and platinum. Okay? Why? Because they have more surface area. Like this, they have lead acids. In this lead acid, they are what? They are occupying. That's why they are called non-stoichiometric compound, because of their indefinite composition and having like this sides, interstitial side. That's why they are called interstitial. Remember, this is character of only D and F, not other elements. Please remember. And these hydrides are having density, okay, less than the density from which they are formed. That means they are having less density than the metal from which they are formed. Whereas in alkali metals, they are having higher density. Okay, that's the difference. And these are also very good reducing agents, strong reducing agents. And palladium and platinum has more storage of hydrogen in this interstitial spaces. But some elements of especially D block elements, as you know students, group 1, group 2 S block elements, group 3 to 12, just try to do first and second group S block elements, 13 to 18 group D block elements. In between what we have? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. These are D. Okay? Is containing 3 elements. And separately, at the bottom of periodic table, you know these are third block elements. So here, especially see 7, 8, 9. 7, 8, 9. Scandium, titanium, palladium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc. These are 3D series. Like that, see, group 7, 8 and 9. These elements, all these 3D, 4D, 5D series, they do not have capacity to form out hydride when they react with hydrogen. Especially this gap is called hydride. Okay, they ask you for 1 marks in theory and for CET. Need also very important. What is the hydride gap? Some group of the D block elements, especially group 7, 8 and 9, they do not form hydride and reacts with the hydrogen. And this particular concept, that gap is what is called hydride. Remember, group 7, 8 and 9 elements, they do not form hydride. That's why it is called as what? Hydride. So like this, it can explain what? Metallic hydrides. Okay? So these metallic hydrides are also what? They are good, strong reducing agents, non-stoichiometric compounds. They have density less than the density from which the metal they are formed, and they are having similar properties of the cell. Similarly, they are belonging to, that means they are similarly have same properties as they are formed by the metal from which they are formed. That means suppose if they are formed by nickel properties and nickel hydride properties are similar. Like, okay, but strong reducing agent, like that ionic hydrides. Okay. Right. So that's about classification of hydride formed by the hydride. What are those? Ionic hydrides, covalent hydrides, and metallic hydrides. Ionic hydrides are also called salt-like hydrides, saline-like hydrides. Covalent hydrides are also called molecular hydrides. Whereas third one, metallic hydrides are also called non-stoichiometric hydrides or interstitial hydrides. Okay. Right. This is all about the hydrides formed by the hydride. So here, students, in this chapter, please try to make one preparation. 2 marks, one question guaranteed fix. Electron precise, electron rich, and electron deficient. Electron precise 14 group, electron deficient 13 group, and electron rich 15, 16, and 17. Next question for 2 marks. Okay. Now last part of this hydrogen, I will try to complete within 15 minutes. Now in the syllabus, what they give me for the structure of water. See, chemical bonding you already studied according to VSEPR are theory. Water is having band V-shaped structure. Band V-shaped structure. Okay, that means see. It is having the two lone pair of electrons and two bonding pair of electrons. These are called bonding pair. This is lone pair, lone. See, bond angle made here is between 104.5 degrees. Right? See, according to ES-EPR theory in chemical bonding, you know there is a force of repulsion between electrons. Lone pair of electrons which do not take part in the bond formation. Bonding pair of electrons which can form the bond formation, that is take part in hybridization process. Since both are similar charges, they repel each other. Due to repulsion, they will move apart as far as possible and give definite geometry to the molecules. Like this here. See, in water there are two bond pair, two lone pair. Because see, oxygen is having 8 electrons, right? 1s2, 2s2, 2d. When you write electronic configuration, 1s2 fixed, okay, 2s2 also filled up, right? No. Any tension? 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Right? In the outermost orbital is having only 2 electrons to complete the orbit. So those are given by what? Hydrogen, because each hydrogen is containing one electron. They will share. Okay, and that's data. Therefore, these are formed what? Bonding pair. And these are only what? Lone pair. There are 2 lone pair and 2 bond pair of electrons, giving the band V-shaped structure for water due to what? Repulsion. Okay. This is according to what? VSEPR. But see, in liquid state, it is associated through what? Hydrogen bond. In liquid state, it is associated through hydrogen bond. Remember. Okay. What is that? See. Right. Now you know this band V-shaped structure. We can write like this. Right? So we can show that this hydrogen bond is shown by dot and another hydrogen. Okay? Another hydrogen. Like this, water molecule is associated through what? N number of water molecule, they are associated through what? Hydrogen bond. There with the liquid state. That's why remember student, water exists in liquid state due to what? This hydrogen bond. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Why? Due to hydrogen bond. Water has maximum density at 5 degrees Celsius only. Why? Due to hydrogen bond. Density of ice is less than density of water. Why? Due to hydrogen bond. All due to hydrogen bond. That means in liquid state, not only covalent bonds are present, even hydrogen bonds are present in the liquid state. That is at 0 to 5 degrees Celsius. See, suppose students, if you heat the water from ice 0 degrees Celsius to 5 degrees Celsius. What will happen if you heat just by 5 degrees Celsius? Instead of expansion, here contraction takes place. Why? Because hydrogen bonds are broken. When hydrogen bonds are broken, water contracts, not expands. That's why volume decreases, density increases. That is true only at 0 to 5 degrees Celsius. Yes, remember, not above 5. If you start heating 5 to 25, then up to 100, almost all liquid water gets converted to water vapor. Okay? That's why please remember. That's why the density of ice is less than density of water. That is also due to hydrogen bonding. That also I show. Okay? Now these are very interesting characters of the water. Just have to go through. Now I am showing you structure of that is ice. Structure of cage-like structure of the ice. Generally, see then So this is the one just model I am showing you. Okay. Like this, water molecule in flat cage shape, cage-like structures. So they will attach like this, okay, with the hydrogen. Now they are done. Sorry. This is one sample just like this. See, like this, it will attach to another hydrogen. Okay. See, like this, here linked here also. Like this, they will form a cage-like structure for us. This will come in. Okay, one hydrogen here. Hydrogen. Finally, it will come outside. That means, see, this is what cage-like structure of us. Cage-like structure of what? Ions. So what you are observing here, vacant space. This vacant space is filled by small atoms like hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen. Even noble gases like helium, neon, argon, krypton, and xenon. And form a class of compound called as what? Clathrate compounds, which are used as which are used as a superconducting agents. Like I say, in ice, in solid state, the oxygen is a tetrahedral surrounded by two hydrogen bonds and two hydrogen bonds and two covalent bonds, forming cage-like structure for ice. If you heat it, see, that's why I say vacant space is more, volume is more. What is density? Density is mass by volume. If volume is more, density decreases. That's why density of ice is less than density of water by due to hydrogen bonding. When you heat it from what? 0 to 5 degrees Celsius, this will break. So volume, instead of expansion, it contracts. Why? Because hydrogen bond breaks, because the biggest force. That's why volume decreases, density increases. It is true only at 0 to 5 degrees Celsius. So remember students, we are very thankful to water. Even water existing liquid state due to hydrogen. We are very thankful to hydrogen bond. Even today, water exists in liquid state due to hydrogen bond. If hydrogen bond would not have been existed, then water would have been existed in what? Solid state, having a below minus 33 degree, that is Celsius. If water is not there, no life would have been existed on the earth. That's why hydrogen bond is very essential for human beings and even all creatures existing on the earth. What we are having today, DNA, base pairing, okay, genetic material, here also hydrogen and here also hydrogen. Wherever hydrogen bond comes, it will affect what? Physical properties. That's why boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. That is abnormal boiling. It is due to hydrogen bond. Remember, this is a very important anomalous properties of water. What are those? Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Density of water is maximum at 5 degrees Celsius. Density of ice is less than density of water. You know, and is having high specific heat of fusion also. Right? All due to what? Hydrogen. That's why remember, it is having two covalent bonds and two hydrogen bonds associated in case of what? Ice. But in liquid state, according to VSEPR theory, only two covalent bonds, two bond pair, two lone pair band wheel-shaped structure with the sp3 hybridization. Okay. So lastly, some more problem. So that water is amphoteric in the nature. Water is what? Amphoteric in the nature. Water is amphoteric in the nature. See, water is amphoteric. Amphoteric in nature. How water is amphoteric in nature? Very simple. See, whenever water reacts with a base like ammonia, okay, so it donates a proton to ammonia. According to Bronsted-Lewis theory, in equilibrium, proton donor is acid, proton acceptor is a base. So it will destroy. It will accept proton and form what? NH4 plus, and it will discharge into form what? OH. This is electron donor acid 1. Its corresponding base is 1. Okay. Reverse reaction. This will donate a proton to. Therefore, this is base, right? This is acid 2, and reaction becomes reverse. This is base. Like this. That means water reacts with a base like ammonia and acts as acid. Okay. Right. Next, same that is water. It reacts with HCl. Okay, it reacts with the HCl, acid like HCl. Here, HCl donates a proton to water in the forward direction. Water accepted and becomes what? H3O plus, that is base, and that is Cl1. So this is acid 1. This is base. In the reverse reaction, once again it donates weak band forms. Okay, this is acid 2, and this is base. Like this, in Bronsted-Lewis theory, proton donor is acid, proton acceptor is a base, right? And there are pairs of compulsory 2 pairs of conjugate acid-base pairs. What are these conjugate acid-base pairs? Which differ by proton. See here, water OH plus H2O, okay, is acid. इसका conjugate base है कौन? Base. Like this. Here also NH4 plus is a acid. Okay. इसका base कौन है? NH. That is base. Like this. See, in what sense they are differing? Just by proton. The pair of acid and base which differ by proton are called conjugate acid-base pair. If the conjugate acid is strong, its base is weaker. If the conjugate base is strong, its acid is weaker. Like that, even we can compare strength of acids and bases using conjugate acid-base pairs. That is not necessary here. In equilibrium, we will study. Okay, just remember, see, in the presence of base, water acts as acid. In the presence of acid, water acts as base. Showing that what it is? Amphoteric in nature. What is amphoteric nature? Amphoteric substance is one which can act as acid and base. In the presence of base, ammonia, water acts as acid. In the presence of that is acid, water acts as base. Showing that it is amphoteric in the nature. So this is the important action of what? Water. Not only it acts as amphoteric in nature, even it acts as powerful, that is oxidizing agent. To show that, for example, sodium metal or alkali metals will be reacted by water. No, it reacts very vigorously on what? Sodium hydroxide with a hissing noise. The hissing noise liberates the hydrogen gas. Okay, 2Na, 2H2O, 2NaOH, and H2. This reaction you already know. But here, water, see, sodium oxidation state 0, 2 plus 1, increasing oxidation number oxidized. And here, water, hydrogen plus 1, 2 gets reduced to hydrogen 0. See, it oxidizes sodium metal to sodium hydroxide, reduces itself to hydrogen, showing that it's a powerful oxidizing agent, which oxidizes others but reduces itself. Okay, this reaction just here water acts as what? Oxidizing. Powerful oxidizing agent. That's it. This is amphoteric nature and this is oxidizing nature. Right? Okay. They won't ask you all this. They will ask me what is hard water and soft water. Let us see. What is hard water and soft water? Hard water and soft water. What is hard water? See, you already know. Water which gives easily lather. Okay, lather with what? Especially soaps. Okay, that is called as what? That is soft water. Water which gives lather easily, even with the soap, is called soft water. And water which does not give lather easily, okay, lather easily or foam easily, is called hard water. Okay. Example for soft water can give rain water and distilled water. And here for hard water, especially sea water. Sea water is a very, very hard water which is containing so many impurities, and river water. I repeat, students, water which does not give lather easily with the soap. Example, sea water and sea water and river water. Whereas soft water is the water which gives lather very easily even with the soap. It's called soft water. Example, rain water and tap water or distilled water. The best examples. Once again, see here the permanent hardness of water. Permanent hardness. This is very important for CET purpose. Permanent hardness. Permanent hardness of water. Permanent hardness of water is due to. Water is due to. What are the dissolved salt? Due to, see, chloride. 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 Chloride or sulfates. Okay. Chloride and sulfates of water. Calcium and barium. Calcium, barium and magnesium. Because they are insoluble. They form insoluble salts. Permanent hardness. And this permanent hardness cannot be removed easily. It can be done by only some chemical methods, either by ion exchange method or by permanent process. But temporary hardness. Temporary hardness. Okay, temporary hardness is due to what? The bicarbonates. Bicarbonates or carbonates. Bicarbonates are carbonates of water, that is sodium or calcium or magnesium. Sodium, potassium, calcium or magnesium. Sodium carbonate, calcium carbonate, magnesium carbonate, potassium carbonate. Right? It is what? Temporary. Carbonates and bicarbonates are alkaline, alkaline, alkalies. Here, very simple. That's chlorides and sulfates of calcium, barium especially, even magnesium and even sodium also. Okay? This is permanent hardness and this is temporary. Temporary hardness can be removed easily. How, sir? Just by boiling water. Just by boiling water, carbonates, bicarbonate can decompose to carbon dioxide water easily. Therefore, temporary hardness can be removed by just boiling, but permanent hardness cannot be removed. Please try to remember, students. Permanent hardness is due to what? Mainly chloride and sulfates. Okay? Chloride and sulfates of what? Calcium and barium. But temporary is due to carbonates and bicarbonates of, that is either sodium, potassium, calcium or magnesium. Here it can be removed, just removed by boiling. Here cannot be removed by water. So this is removed by just by using chemical methods. Okay, unique chemical methods like ion exchange method and permanent process. But above just like given, what is the difference between hard water and soft water? Hard water does not give lather easily with the soap, whereas soft water gives easily lather. Okay, with the soap. Lather means what? Foam. Okay. That's it. That's a difference, see, between what? Hard water and soft water. This completes everything regarding hydrogen, which is for your test purpose, especially 8th section students, please. Okay, go through this and write this what? Online test, which is going to be conducted on 11th May. Clear? Okay. Thank you.